Dear students, today I am here with the next chapter, Light and Shadow. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the light and the formation of the shadow. Dear students, when we look around, our eyes that enable us to see the various objects of different colors and sizes which surrounds us. So as you know, sun, it is the major source of natural light. So what is light? Light is a form of energy that produces the sensation of sight in our eyes. So sun emits its own light as well as stars, they also emit their own light. So sources like your sun or stars which emit their own light, they are known as natural sources. Along with that, there are some man-made sources also, and these sources are known as artificial sources of light, which is your lamps or matchbox or candles, tube lights, LEDs, electric bulbs. These all are artificial sources of light. So there are some animals also like your firefly, the glowworm, and along with that there are some fishes also which have their own light or which also emits light of their own. Now, dear students, as we have studied earlier in chapter Nature of Matter, that there are three types of materials like transparent, translucent, and opaque materials. So, what are transparent materials? The materials which allow the light to pass through them, these are known as transparent materials like your glass or crystal, air, water, etc. Translucent materials are the materials which allow the light to pass through them but partially. So, the examples of the translucent material are your butter paper or frost glasses, tissue papers, etc. Now, next is your opaque material. The materials which do not allow light to pass through them, like your cardboard pieces, wood, metal, etc. These are some of the examples of these materials which allow the light to pass through them or allow partially or which do not allow the light to pass through them. Next is the characteristic of the light. Dear students, light always travel along a straight path. Light can be reflected and it can be bent or refracted. So reflection and refraction you will study in your next class. So here you have one activity related to that light travels in a straight line. So what you have to do is that take three equal sized cardboard or thermocol pieces and keep them on the top of one another. With the help of a nail or a hammer, make a clean hole through these pieces and put these pieces vertically on suitable stands and adjust their position so that the holes on the two pieces are along the same straight line. Now, place a lighted candle on the other side of these wooden pieces or thermocol pieces. The movement when we disturb any one piece, we will not be able to see the flame of the candle on the other side. Otherwise, if these pieces they are arranged properly in a straight line, we are able to see the candle flame. So this shows that light always travel in a straight path. We'll do this demonstration in an online class also. Now, what is a shadow? Dear student, we all have experienced that during early morning or evening when we walk or we jog in the park, something always follow us, that is the shadow. And how these shadows are formed whenever a opaque object is obstructing the path of the light, they make a dark region on a screen kept behind on them. So it is the dark region or the patches that we call a shadow. So what is a shadow? A shadow is made when an object blocks the light path. So light, as you know, travels in a straight line. So if its path is blocked or obstructed by some opaque object, then the shadow is formed. Dear student, for the formation of shadow, three essential things are required. First is the source of the light, second is opaque object, and third one is the screen where we obtain the shadow. As you can see here in the picture, this is the source of the light. Your hand is a opaque object, and on the table the shadow of the hand is formed. So for the formation of shadow, these three essential things are required, that is the source of the light, an opaque object, and the screen. Next is one more activity which is given in your book, that the phenomena of the formation of shadow tells us that light ordinarily propagate the straight line, and shadows are formed because light moves along a straight line path and is not able to bend its path around large obstacles. So here in this activity you have to fix a comb vertically on one side of a large wooden table. Cover the table with a tablecloth and send a beam of light from a powerful torch through the comb. What you will see that the comb is obstructing the path of the light, and we can get the image or the shadow of the comb on the tablecloth. So this shows that light always travel along a straight path, but when it gets blocked by an opaque object, a shadow is formed. So this is because light cannot bend around any obstacle. So following its straight path, it forms a shadow. Next, sometimes, dear students, shadows they can be misleading. They can mislead us about the shape of the object associated with them. The shadows that we can see or we create with the fingers of our hand can make us think as if they are the shadows of animals or the birds. So you can also form these shadows with the help of your hands. Now, the characteristics of the shadow. The size of the shadow of a given opaque object depend upon the relative position of the source of the light and the opaque object that is acting as an obstacle. And the second is that shadow of an opaque object is always black irrespective of the color. Whether whenever you put clothes for drying, your if bed sheet is of red color, but the shadow formed on the ground will be always black irrespective of the color of the bed sheet. For this, there is one more activity which is given in your book, that send a beam of light from the powerful torch over a circular piece of a cardboard to obtain its shadow on the screen, as you can see in the first picture here. So here a powerful beam of light is thrown from through the torch on a cardboard piece, and we are obtaining the shadow of that cardboard piece on the screen. So here the shadow formed is smaller in size, and whereas if the cardboard piece is nearer to the source of the light, the shadow formed is larger in size. So as the light source is moved closer to the object, a larger shadow is formed. This is again because of the fact that light travels in a straight line path. So this activity shows that the shadow of an object is always black irrespective of the color, as well as it depends upon the distance of the source of the light from the object. Here in this picture also, the source of light is nearer to the opaque body, the shadow forms is also larger in size, whereas the source of light in the second picture is away from the opaque body, so the shadow formed is smaller in size. So these two characteristics are the important characteristics of shadow, that the size of the shadow of given opaque body depends upon the relative position of the source of light, and shadow of an opaque object is always black irrespective of the color. So that's all in this video. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.